Hello, Kansas and Western fans. It's time for episode number 57 of the construction of the Kansas and Western HO scale model railroad. Today we're going to do a full tour. I mentioned in the last video that we're going to do this just once a month, so we'll do the full tour today, stop off where we worked, which was the Pueblo steel mill, and talk about what I got done there. And then, of course, we'll have our little drawing here with the 4 options for what we'll work on for the next 2 weeks with the poll at the end. So starting over here, down here at what I like to call the beginning, we have the Royal Gorge route. And this area is probably 85% finished. There's quite a bit of detail work left to do, a lot of ground covering left to work on. As you can see, the river's pretty well done. A lot of this erosion control rock, I still need to add a lot of dirt, bushes, grass, trees, all that. Still need to add all kinds of different talus, fallen rock, things of that nature on the other side of the track. Going to add a bunch of weeds, maybe some small trees, grasses sticking out of the cliff face there. And the road still needs a little bit of work. We got the shoulder in, but probably need to add some grass and some weeds along the edges. And of course, there's a guardrail that's going to go along almost the entire length of this thing. This is Highway 50 in eastern Colorado, right along the Arkansas River. And moving along, the main line here feeds into Canon City and the Royal Gorge Railway Station here, where we have the Royal Gorge train and the excursion train that goes out the Royal Gorge, I think a few times a day. And that is the repair shop for the Royal Gorge Railway. And then in the background here, we have a bit of Canon City downtown that will be represented. And down this way, we have the Portland cement plant located just southeast of Canon City. And then the main line feeds into the backdrop here to the other side of the layout. This track here in the foreground is just a spur that I can use for join-up interchange operations, but I actually use it to stage cars for minor weathering. Generally what I do is just try to get the wheel sets with a coat of paint on those and the trucks, just so they don't stand out so bad with that glossy black plastic and that shiny metal that wouldn't otherwise be seen. And then something I failed to mention last time, about a month ago I was able to visit Alan Mady's layout up in the Kansas City area, and he was very gracious host, drove me around a little bit. We had some lunch, went to the Midwest Model Railroad shop, which I'd never been to. That place is huge. And he gifted me with several articles. I had no idea he was going to do that. I appreciate that. But they're actually from his layout. He has a big Continental grain elevator on his layout, and it's named the Midland Railway, I believe. I can't remember. I'm sorry, Alan. You'll have to correct everybody in the comments. He also gave me some of these awesome LED lights that he uses for building interiors and some of his custom-made coupler picks. And he showed me how he mounts straws to the side of his layout, his fascia, and those stick in there just nicely. And with the yellow tab there, it's a little bit easier to find and helps keep that thing from sliding through the straw. So very gracious of him to gift me those things. I really appreciate that. This is just my little workstation here. And we'll wrap around to the other side for the big reveal of what I managed to get done over the last 2 weeks. This area down here is Pueblo and its steel mill. Used to be called the Everest Steel Mill, now recently purchased by Orion apparently. And as you can see, I just got this backdrop put up right before this video, and I think it looks fantastic. This is again by Train Junkies, kind of my go-to guy for doing all my backdrops, and I don't think I need to do anything else to this scene. We'll just call the backdrop up and we're done. Just as a game changer. We had just the blue backdrop there before, and now we've got this added, and it just adds a ton to the scene. So pretty awesome there. Thank you over there, William, at Train Junkies, for making this for me. Didn't have to do a lot of custom work on this one. He offers this one as one of his ready-made versions. The only thing I did add was his version has a little bit of a foreground with some trees, bushes, and just some bare ground. Probably the bottom 2 or 3 inches of this particular backdrop. I had him cut that off because this scene is actually supposed to be part of that plant, and I didn't really want to have any transition between the trackage here in the foreground and the plant itself. This structure that I've been working on back here is just kind of an unloading structure for the mill. That's all part of the plant. So I think that makes for a much more seamless transition. What I have decided to do is the background of this structure. I'm going to fill in all of these gaps you see between the supports with some evergreen rivet, or not, corrugated steel. So that's a solid wall in the background there, and I think that will help sell this structure much better. You won't be able to see the backdrop structure directly behind it. Over the top you will, but that's okay. But that way we see this as kind of a standalone facility. And the way this gantry sticks out over here might work really well. Anyway, really happy with that. The next backdrop here that's going to lead towards La Junta Yard might be a bit of a challenge to try to tie those two in. So I've got to figure out how to do that, but that's for another day. Anyway, main line wraps around here to La Junta Yard. And now I can also say, if you weren't aware, I have officially laid all the track for this layout. So that's an awesome accomplishment. It took me about 2 years to get that done. So very happy about that. We have a bridge here that I still need to finish. And then this here is going to be an arroyo, which is basically, I think it's a river that has, or a creek that has water in it when there's plenty of water. And then sometimes it just runs dry. But we got to build a trestle bridge over that. That'll take up a good portion of this scene here. Hence the do not glue, because all this foam is going to be coming out. And then the main line wraps around here to Lamar, Colorado with its station. I believe that's still an active Amtrak station. And got a little bit of a treat or a surprise. That's not really a surprise. I'm adding an Amtrak train to my layout, and I have a few things that are on the way tomorrow. So hopefully you see that in the next operations video. Next video, and this is also part of Lamar here. Several different industries. Then we wrap around to Holly. And I also forgot to mention, there was more that happened over here besides the backdrop and work on this structure and the track. As you can see, I got about half of the track with its base coat of paint done that I like to do. Covers the ties, gets rid of that shine, that plastic shine, and gets the rail webbing. I do come back and paint the rail webbing, and I did some of that down here on the main line. See if we can see that. Yeah, you can see where that's got that rust color. I like to differentiate between the rails and the ties a little bit, so I hand paint those rails. So I did get some of that done, besides the backdrop and that structure in the corner. Anyway, back over the other side of the aisle to Holly. The track here is almost completely ballasted. What I left behind was this grade crossing, because I've never done one of those, so I wanted just to leave that until I figured out exactly how I wanted to do that. Here's some of those Walther concrete grade crossing fillers that you can put on the tracks themselves. I might use that. I might do my own. Haven't decided. That's why it's left that way. And then from here we go up. This is a hidden helix here that you can see. And on top of that, where the main line comes out the top of the helix around this edge here, we've got the Holcomb power plant. And then we transition over here to Garden City. A couple facilities here that are actually neighbors to each other in real life. And then the main line wraps around the corner here to Charleston Elevator, located east of Garden City. Kind of a standalone, out in the middle of nowhere grain elevator. That's the photo of the real thing. I plan to try to model that as closely as possible. This was just kind of a first attempt, but I'm going to totally redo this. And then we've got a train sitting here idle on the main line as it wraps around to the Wichita Industrial Park. Multiple industries located in this area. A small yard, basically used for switching. And then this feeds the main line into the Wichita yard that I have broken up between BNSF on this side and Union Pacific on the other. And if you're new to the channel, all the track, as I mentioned before, is laid and all works. I try to move around with regular operations videos to different parts of the layout to remind everybody how everything works operationally. And we have the UP side of the rail yard here. The repair shop, which I learned recently is out of service. This no longer is a functioning facility. I guess UP's decided not to use that anymore, but it's going to be used on my layout. And then the main line comes back together. This is a transition element between a wheat field here over to Towanda, where the main line passes through the edge of town. And then we have the El Dorado oil field, just a small element representing the El Dorado oil field, several pump jacks and a tank battery here. And this will be a dirt road grade crossing. And then we transition into several El Dorado area industries, including Mears fertilizer here, and Barton Solvents and BG Products right next to each other. And then it mainline weaves back here through the tank farm of the El Dorado refinery. And the main line you see in the background there crosses over here to Union Tank Car Company, where they do repair work and repaint jobs for Union Tank Car rail cars. So that is the full tour of the layout. Now we will proceed to the drawing. And if you've never witnessed this before, basically I'm drawing 4 options out of different elements of the layout, different scenes, different types of work that I can do. And then you guys vote on what you'd like to see me work on for the next couple of weeks. Whether there's a particular scene that interests you of the 4 options. I do 4 options because YouTube polls has been a better option, I think, rather than just doing a comment poll because it hides the results. And so you're voting and you have no idea what the results are until you vote. And so, but the reason it's 4 is because that's the max limit YouTube has in its polls. But that's okay. It's been working out the last several weeks we've been doing it this way. So let's get started. Number 1 is scene details, fences, animals, people, miscellaneous. That's something I never worked on before. There's a few scenes I mentioned over here. The Royal Gorge route needs a lot of that, so that might be one area where I work on for that element. And I'll do these 4, and then I'll focus more on those to talk about what I might work on if they win. All right, number 2, we have maintenance of way, equipment kits to build. For example, you see back there, I did one of these, can't remember the name right now, but it's a metal parts kit. It was not impossible, but it was difficult. I have several more of those to build, so that's what that would be. Number 3, we've got back to the Canon City Portland cement plant. And number 4 will be the Holcomb power plant. So let's review these again. Kind of talked about scene details already and the maintenance of way kits to build. Several more of those. So if that wins, I'll probably pick one of those and see if I can't finish it within 2 weeks. Kansas City Portland cement plant. Let's go back over there and take a look what we can work on there. So that's this scene just outside of Kansas City proper. These structures are basically complete. I think I've actually thrown out the box because everything is already added. So I probably wouldn't do anything with the structures right now. What I would like to do, you can see I've got the base coat done for all the tracks. I'd like to get a good portion of the ballast done. Now I have decided that for the actual yard here inside the plant, this is all going to be concrete. I was able to visit the actual location this summer to see that it is all concrete between these tracks. I think there's a lot of foot traffic amongst all these buildings and some automobile traffic, construction and so forth, crew vehicles. So we're going to concrete everything from one edge of the track to the other. I'm going to I'm not sure if I'm going to do a base coat of ballast under that or not. I haven't decided, but I need to at least get the rails weathered. I probably won't mess with the ties since, again, it's going to be covered in concrete anyway. Have some ideas on how I'm going to do that. In fact, I built a test board over here so you can see there a couple pieces of track glued to that so I can test out a couple different options to see how it looks before I do it on the layout. But probably would focus completely on trackage for the Portland cement plant. And then for the last option, the Holcomb power plant, you can see here in the distance in front of you, this track is all done in terms of ballast. So what we would work on is I need to redo this substation. This kit is completely, it's not completely done, but for just the power station part, I think it's to be cut in half. I think maybe we just get this large transformer and this support member here that leads from the plant, and then these things would feed the power lines that would go off in the distance. So I'll probably rebuild that, and then have quite a few building details to add yet. These kits are not done, but the way everything is set up, I'm happy with. So we'll work some more on that and try to figure out what I'm going to do for some ground cover around here. Maybe add a little more work done to that coal pile here. This left edge I'm not happy with. It needs some more work, and probably some more scatter out on the ground. But otherwise, a lot of different things I can work on here. I could also work on the main line as well. I've got the base ballast in place, but obviously there's no ground cover here. You can kind of still see some plywood there. So a lot of different options I could work on for Portland cement plant, not to mention this fence that I want to go around the entire perimeter. So lots to do there. So there's the 4 options. We're going to have a link over to, or actually, if you click on my icon right below this video on the left corner, that little logo, we'll show you again here on my door. There's my logo. If you click on that, it goes to my homepage, my YouTube homepage, and then look for the posts tab, and that's where you're going to find the poll for this thing. So you'll see those 4 options that we just drew. Click on the one you like, and you'll see the results, how they're going. Monday night, I'm going to be posting an update video for the results of the poll, and we'll talk about what exactly I'll be working on for the winner of that poll. So that's about it for now. If you have any questions or comments, leave those below. Otherwise, proceed over to my posts tab and place your vote for what I'm going to work on for the next 2 weeks. That's about it for now. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Thanks for watching.